I want to save my soul.
Another giant, we are with Canon right now. Please tell us, Raj, right?
Yes.
Raj, please tell us what do you have with you? What's the biggest, baddest, you know, whatever we can show the viewers to come here for?
Sure. So today I've got the 24-105 2.8L. This is our newest lens within the RF system. It's basically a hybrid lens that's designed to bridge the gap between our cine range and our stills range. So you've got a dedicated iris ring, you've got super sharp imagery, and it's great, particularly for wedding photographers that are going to be doing both video and stills. You've got a lens that can give you half focal focusing. With the right camera, it will even do focus breathing adjustments. So you've got a very, very capable lens for a variety of situations, and it will cope in low light as well. So really a fantastic piece of kit for portrait photographers, wedding photographers, anyone that's doing sort of a bit of both.
I love the very short throw of the zoom. Yeah. That's really good, really fast. Yep. It is pretty sizey, I must say.
But inevitably, when you're talking about a 24-105, a lens that we never thought would happen, because we always thought, oh, it's going to be quite big and it's going to be quite heavy. Considering we thought it was going to be much bigger and heavier than that, it's a lens we couldn't have done before the RF mount, you know? It's a lens that we couldn't have done on the EF range because it just would have been huge. With this, on the RF cameras, you're getting super fast focusing in a lens that should be massive and heavy, but is actually quite manageable. And it has a power zoom attachment to it. So if you're doing video side, you've got an attachment that you can go on the side there and you can do the power zoom, which we do have actually. We have the power zoom with us as well.
Nice. So what camera would you pair this with ideally?
Ideally, so we've got it paired up on a C70 over there to sort of demonstrate the video side of things, but it pairs very nicely with an R5, R5C. R5C, you know, being the kind of ideal camera for those that are hybrid shooters. When we're talking about someone that wants to use all the video features, when you switch it into video mode, it brings up a separate interface that is video centric, which the R5 doesn't do, and it has active cooling as well, so you're kind of able to do longer time, like recording times, so with reduced risk of overheating, and really push it to even up to 60 frames per second in 8K RAW. Being a hybrid lens with a hybrid camera, it's kind of the ideal setup for a lot of shooters. I mean, I've talked a lot about this lens being very much a hybrid thing, but if you're just a stills photographer, it's also incredibly capable just as a stills lens. And for myself, I do mostly stills and I shoot weddings and portraiture, and I'm very keen on the idea of this lens for that, because it's super sharp. You know, the flex, we always say that you got the 24-70 if you want the 2.8 and the low light performance, and you got the 24-105 if you want the f4, if you want the flexibility. Now you got both.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ideal,
I mean,
right?
2.8 just covers everything, doesn't it? Yeah, definitely. And the range, I can just see, you know, having a very close-up photo shoot with the couple, like somewhere outside. That's on 24 or 35, and then standing right at the back of the church with 105, and yeah, it just sounds amazing. All in one, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, and getting that subject separation as well. You know, from a long distance, you'll get that subject separation from the surroundings, and really pull the attention of the viewer right into that couple.
Absolutely. So what else? What else do you have for us?
Well, so with me I've got the 200-800. It's not necessarily one you'd regularly use for weddings, but it's we've brought it with us because we haven't had much of an opportunity to show it to people. So this is a huge zoom range in a relatively compact format. I mean, you know, to have a 200-800 that isn't vastly heavy is quite surprising. And again, this is one of those lenses that we couldn't have done without the RF mount.
So what makes it special? What makes this particular lens special?
We've never been able to do that sort of zoom, sort of those focal lengths for this sort of pricing. And it's a non-L, but you still get the white paint. It comes with a lens hood, and the image quality is fantastic. You know, for something that at that price point, it shouldn't be as good as it is. You know?
Absolutely. I mean, it's Canon, so it's going to be good either way. But I really like that even 800 doesn't feel that big. Yes, it's big, but it's not as big as you would expect, right?
Yeah, it's completely. And this is it's a really good point you bring up, actually. So what I like about this lens, it doesn't feel heavy, and the reason for that is the weight stays at the back end. So when it's on a camera, it's not forward facing. You know, it's not front heavy. and that makes a massive difference to the strain it puts on your arms. Yeah, so some older lenses, if you go back in time a long way, it felt heavy because as you zoom out, it's all on the front end and you kind of...
Oh yeah, yeah. You lose your shot at that point. Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm just checking it now and just holding at 200 and spinning it all the way to 800. It's not much of a difference. You can tell a little bit changed, but not that much. Honestly, it's really good. I like it. Brilliant. That's amazing. Anything else? What's the newest camera you have right now?
The R50. We've got the R10s are here. We've got the R8s. We've got the whole RF range. Everything you could want. We've got with us. We've got a lot of the print range here as well today, and that's something that you know, we're really keen on. You know, part of the whole process from beginning to end. It's worth having a look at the print stuff. Mark's very, very knowledgeable, and actually adding that to your business if you're a wedding photographer it's a really valuable way to add income to your business as well. So I think that's quite important. We also have, as a niche product, we've also demonstrating this, which is something that we haven't had at any show before. It's the light and speaker. So we've recently announced this, and it's a battery-powered speaker and light. As well, which we've got to...
It's like a desk accessory type of thing. Okay, okay, that's cool. So if you were to convince me to switch from something else, it doesn't matter what I use, don't look over there. If you were to convince me to switch to Canon, what should I switch to? Assuming I'm just starting out, I just have like an old camera, I'm just switching to Canon, what do I start from?
I always say our range is not one camera is better than the other. It's more, we have cameras for specific purposes. So if you're a sort of wildlife photographer, the R6 Mark II might be the ideal camera. If you're a wedding photographer, the R6 Mark II might be the ideal camera. To be honest, the R6 Mark II is the ideal camera for most people. It's really, it's a very, very lovely sweet spot between price point and capability. The resolution is 24 megapixels, which for most people actually is more than enough. You get a lovely balance between low light performance and resolution there. As soon as you start cramming lots of pixels in, inevitably you don't get quite the same low light performance. Low light focusing is incredible, and the main basis for our technology and our mirrorless range is our dual pixel AF system. And that is the underlying tech that sort of underpins everything that we do and makes our cameras so reliable in terms of focusing in all sorts of conditions, from a very low light to changing light situations when you're on, shooting stage productions or anything like that. It's still able to do the face tracking, pick out the eye, and continue doing even in the most challenging of situations. So for me, the main reason I switched from digital SLR particularly to this is the focusing. You can sort of ignore a lot of the rest of it because if you're not getting shots in focus, it doesn't really matter, nothing else really matters. So for me, the focusing is the key thing, and our dual pixel AF system, it essentially works by every pixel being split into two. You have a left and right eye on every single pixel, which means you can measure distances on every pixel. So on a 45 megapixel camera, for example, you've got 45 million focusing points, which we don't do it like that. We do it as positions, but it means you can focus on 100% by 100% of the sensor in any light condition. It's the most flexible focusing system I've ever used. I think it's fantastic.
I've got to ask one more thing. If you can't answer, that's fine. Okay. Video. Does the new R line, I don't know what's the latest, R6 Mark II, did you say? Is it still overheating?
So the R6 Mark II particularly, we massively increased the recording time on that by using a newer processor that is much more efficient. So not only do you get 50% better battery life, you get much more extended.
So did you say 50%?
50% better battery life.
50?
Battery, yeah.
Wow, okay.
Compared to the Mark I. So you're getting a much better battery life, and as a result of that efficiency, you're able to record for much longer without any chance of overheating. And with that camera being slightly newer, you don't have the recording time limit on the 29-minute, 59-second anymore, which is true of all cameras coming out now going forward. But as well, you can actually use all of that time, so you could just leave it as a camera running 4K quite happily.
Amazing, brilliant. That was great. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure. Thanks a lot.